Oh, hey, it is Rudy G. Funk, and I just want to get on here and just to get on. I haven't been on in so long. I guess a little update. I've been fishing a lot lately, which has been fucking awesome. I guess I needed somewhat of a YouTube break. I'm having a beer. It is late Friday night. I don't see too much going on. I figured I'd get on and say hello and see what happens. Brandon, how are you, sir? Oh, that's. Oh, hey, Bruder, the Brew, man. How you been, buddy? Good to see you, man. Glad you chimed in. Hey, sorry I didn't. sorry I didn't do the draft thing, but I kind of got down on it, and me and Stumbler talked a little bit about it, but seeing the Browns didn't have anything, in the first round, we were just kind of like, well, we're just kind of talking about everybody else's shit. It wouldn't be so much for the channel, but we probably should have done it anyway, to be honest with you. But I hope, hey, Brew, any good new beers or anything like that? I'm not drinking anything new. I'm doing a Founders All Day IPA tonight, and I'm just hanging out. I just wanted to get in. I'm doing good, but we should set something up though. Obviously, obviously, especially if we're playing Pittsburgh, I will open up and let the Pittsburgh guys on. So we always got that. So yeah, Brandon, it's good to see you. Mike, it's good to see you, man. Yeah, I mean, especially at halftime and after the game's over, that's when the Pittsburgh guys love to pile in, and we love that. To be honest with you, me and Stumbler, we do love and respect the Pittsburgh guys. And every year is interesting. How things unfold is just fascinating, actually. And my apologies, to my channel for not doing so much Browns content and keeping up on the practices and the injuries. And I don't know, something's wrong. It doesn't feel as big this year. I don't think it's just me. It could be just me. I mean, I'm excited for the Browns season. I am. I don't know if it's just life's happening, because this is a Browns channel, at least part and parcel to a Browns channel. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everybody's excited. I mean, I'm obviously I'm excited about football season, but I'm realizing as this channel progresses, that lull between, keeps getting a little weird. So I don't necessarily know what to do all the time. The one thing, oh, geez. Oh, no shit, dude. Oh, I got plans tomorrow too, man. I mean, I know you didn't invite me, but I'd love to come and see Quinn. Bruder's kid's a wrestler, man, and I always like to keep my eyes on him because he's really good, and it'd be nice to come and see him, man. It really would. You gotta, yeah. We need to keep in touch a little better, and it's. I know it's 50-50, but yeah, I gotta see Quinn, man. He's going to Bowling Green, huh? Wow, that's cool, man. Cheers. Yeah, Quinn's a good wrestler, man. I like watching him. Just for the channel's sake, the brew, he sends me his matches via text. Is it? Yeah, it is text. And he lets me watch his wrestling match, because I miss Cullen, man, when he was in high school, and I miss those Raw matches where they're just awesome. They're just awesome. Yeah, it is. It is, certainly. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the hell am I thinking? I didn't even get my shit going here. Shame on me. I'm a damn fool. Yeah, get out of there. I remember how to do this, man. Oh, is it through the YouTube? And you put it on your YouTube channel too, right? That's correct. MB, right? Isn't that your what is this? Get out of here. That is your YouTube channel, right? Bro? Yeah, if you guys want to get on here and flap your big ass lips, man, I'd appreciate it. Okay, yeah. So if you want to check out Quinn and a lot of his matches, check out MB on YouTube. If you like wrestling. But yeah, I was just thinking about you. What the hell was I thinking about? I think I was. Oh, I know what it was. I know I was just thinking of you because I just got some Raycons, and I was listening to music, and Enter the Coven I was listening to, and how it's funny when you and I first started talking about Merciful Fate and King Diamond. A Dangerous Meaning was one of my favorite Merciful Fate songs. And as I keep listening to it, Into the Coven is starting to become like one of my favorite Merciful Fate tunes. That's what I was thinking about. Probably an hour ago, dude. I just listened to it like about an hour ago. But anyway, yeah. Anybody want to get down here and flap their big ass lips? Man, I'd fucking appreciate it. And like I said, this isn't, I don't necessarily have a, oh, really? Really? So, Brew, is he done wrestling? I mean, is he, did he like make that choice? Say, yeah, I guess that's, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing with you. I'm laughing with you, brother. I mean, oh, there you go. Oh, that'd be cool. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's a nice olive branch. Obviously, I mean, I'd like them. It'd be great to be, Bo Nichols first, and then go into UFC. But like a Brandon Pickett.
What's up?
Brandon,
What'd I do?
I don't know.
What'd I do? Yeah,
Brandon, I love you, brother.
it's all good. It's only because I've been laying down. If I comb it and I wet it down, it's better.
What did you? Friar Brandon here?
No, see, I gotta wet it. I gotta get it. I gotta take a shower for it to be right.
You're loved here, dude. You ain't gotta worry.
Yeah, you ain't lying though. It's a little fucked up right now.
Anyway, it's good to see you, brother. How you been? You been good?
Yeah, living a day at a time as always.
Good. How's the family doing? Well?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Always. Nothing to complain about.
So I take it from the chat there. You did watch the debate, and you probably
Did
have.
you not?
Oh, I had to. I had to. I know all the Trump guys watched it.
I'm hoping he picks JD from Ohio
Oh, do you?
for his VP. Yeah, I like
Oh,
JD.
see, I'm a Vivek guy, man.
Yeah. Oh, you are?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't like JD?
I don't want to say I don't like him. I think Vivek shreds everybody he comes across.
Well, that's because he's young and he has the energy.
Right. That's
JD's
true,
a
but
little more mature.
I mean, the archive. I just get shocked at Vivek with the archive of information that he has. And
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're right. It's because he's young and he has no trouble grabbing
he's got nothing to
everything he
lose.
learned. Right. He's just a whip, man. I just love I like the angles hit. I like that he goes off the beaten path.
Yeah.
He talks about a lot of stuff
now realistically, I don't think it's gonna be Vivek, but we'll see. I think it's in a couple days he's announcing it. Probably Monday or so, Tuesday maybe.
I don't know. I think there's usually like a recommended area of time when you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Brew. That was a question. I'm just pulling it up now, and I forgot what I had said to him.
No, I was at work for the debate, but I watched it today. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's my first, because I'm a human being. My first thought is just like I don't want to watch this dude go through this. He's just an old dude, and that morally, that's my first thought. But the dude's a piece of shit. He's been a piece of shit for a long fucking time, man. And
yeah,
as a God-fearing person, I guess I should, let it be. Let him suffer. Let him go through he's going. And because I'm a human being and I question myself.
Yeah, we all do.
Am I good? Am I bad? That whole thing. But there's a huge picture, and I hope everybody's not missing it. That he's not running the country. I mean, that's blatantly obvious for everybody to see. And Joe Biden's guilty.
He ain't lying.
What do we think about this shit, fellas?
It got to a point last night where he couldn't say anything.
Yeah, that's just one of several.
I will give him this though. The golf segment was epic.
What did he get us down to? A 6 handicap?
Supposedly.
Oh,
Hey,
God.
I don't really got any golf games. So.
Dude, and when he looked at Don after he said that, looking for his approval, like, do you believe that, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
He said it, and he looked at him like, yeah,
there was a few different times where he looked at him and he was
then
smiling.
he said he got an 8. He looked over at Joe like, come on, dude,
and let's be real though. Neither of them can carry their own bag of clubs.
Nah, probably not.
Not that Don wants to.
Yeah, I think it's a choice thing,
Don thinks he's too good for that.
Yeah.
Right, hey, get my club.
Joe, you did a great job. You answered every question. And what
Oh,
did Trump
my
do? Why?
That is.
Well, when's the
that
next
is
one?
just something else, man.
September 10th.
Dude, I don't think Trump is going to participate in a second debate if it's Biden.
You know what? That's probably not such a bad choice. That could. I think that's a 50-50 in my opinion. That's if he didn't do it, he might even get a little more respect. For not doing that.
We'd we'd have Monday Night Football, then we'd have the debate, and then we'd have Thursday Night Football. So I'm for it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but I told you this last night, dude. I don't know if fucking they can run him after this.
Yeah, this is gonna get really weird real quick.
I was surprised they let the golf conversation go on.
The paper side of it though says, you know, like Biden whooped his ass and stuff like that. So they're still doing the lie, the Obama lie. Well, just lie. Just keep saying it until they believe it. You know, the fucking ultra
you know it's
MK
bad.
Ultra
You know it's
technique.
bad when Kamala comes out and just is all
Oh,
heated.
dude, you see her on CNN?
Oh,
Oh my god.
She
Well-
got very fucking mad at
Well, I
Anderson
don't think
Cooper.
that's a fair question.
Well, if you look at, did you watch CNN afterwards? Did you see their panel?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all disciples of shit anyway. But I did want to hear the next, what would you call it? The wordsmithing that's going to happen. A third of them said, you know, Biden still beat him on principle and policy. You know, they did that fucking garbage.
When people are struggling to live, do you think many people give a fuck about that?
All right. Hey, I hear you, brother. But
Fuck
listen to
that. I
them.
don't care if Trump's a fucking asshole. Maybe that's why I'm voting for him.
Right, but a third of them also said, you know, they lied to us. You know, the Biden administration lied to us. Like they believed that he wasn't fucking Frankenstein walking around looking for his bride or whatever.
They both lied a little bit last night. I mean,
you see what they did. Yeah. This is the John Kerry technique. Say everything. Yeah. You know, okay, well, they lied to us so they can fall back on. I mean, like I said, there's a bigger picture here and what the media is doing, and because they are slick, and you know, some of the normies will buy this shit. Mm-hmm. You know, he lied to us. You know, this wasn't as big as it was, and how ridiculous it was, and how embarrassing it was. Everybody knew this, man. Everybody knew this clown's walking around fucking wiping his ass.
Rudy, what have we not been talking about for 4 years? This is what was going to happen if this dude got in the White House.
His voice from the opening question about the economy.
Oh, jeez.
He couldn't even talk.
And then they wanted to make the excuse, well, he had a cold. Well, if he had a cold, why was he out all day in North Carolina campaigning?
Yeah, and if you have a cold, you're sneezing, you're sniffling. Like, I mean, maybe the mic was shut off when he was doing it.
This is coming from the pro-health administration that wanted everyone locked down just 3 years ago.
You know what? If he had a cold, he should have been wearing a mask.
Yeah, and he wasn't wearing a fucking mask.
Right, he infected everybody with his ass. You know. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I guess you know it did need to happen. I suppose.
Well, they had it. This was the earliest it's been in a while.
What did I tell you? I said that there's something very fishy about that. There's something and I sent you something today on Twitter. It was Obama and fucking Ron Klain had a meeting, are going to have a meeting with him. Either they already had it with him or they're having it with him this weekend. And they're already discussing people that could replace him and saying Kamala's furious. She's not one of those people being considered. It's either fucking Newsom or it's Whitmer.
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna vote for a woman. So yeah, maybe Newsom is the right move.
Trump isn't running against Biden. I mean, I hope everybody's figured that out like a long time ago.
It can't be. And if it
is, here's another thing.
It's a free W.
I'm not talking about you know gay Newsom or you know Carmel Harry ass any of these fucking ass clowns there. It's all the same principles. They'll roll the same way, same money laundering. They'll all make themselves richer. They'll make us poorer.
You should have saw Gavin on Twitter.
Nothing to do with who gets up there. What's happening now is so huge.
He was trying to be the biggest Biden supporter. He was going so hard for him. Now I'm gonna make
Gavin on Twitter was balling last night.
Well, here's 2 points. I think number one, if who's going to be Gavin's vice president, because him and Kamala can't run on the same ticket. They're both from California. Number two, what are you willing to bet? I didn't know if they were actually going to go through with it before the debate Thursday night. What are you willing to bet now on July 11th they're going to send Trump to prison?
I was still holding out hope that he could pick Ron for his VP, but nah. Because Ron should be the successor. That's my opinion. But
I think it's going to be Vivek.
Yeah, Rudy said it too. Yeah.
Well,
I like JD though.
I don't
JD
know
is solid.
But here's the thing, and Rudy, I think you can speak for this. Some of these people like JD and like Tucker, we need them where they are. Because if, let's say Tucker becomes even press secretary or JD's his vice president, then in Ohio, they're going to replace him with a fucking rhino most likely.
Yeah, see, you gotta, let's go back a little bit.
Tim Scott. No.
You guys ever watch those 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like these documentaries on our government and the mob and the stuff that he's done? Not just the infiltration, but the busts, but how
I've seen a couple.
And I think this is where the government like accumulates information. That's what they do.
Oh, of course.
It didn't start with algorithms and all like that. This started a long time ago.
Yeah.
How can I say this without sounding like an idiot? Obviously the algorithms do work. And if you're looking for something, the algorithms can find something for you. There's plenty of ways to use information. But if you look at the cartels, you look at the mob, and you look at our government, how similar they function, And I think not only from the mobs from, 20s, 30s, 40s, and the government and all that stuff, the cartels are a big influence on our government also. Because our government looks like Enron now. Do you guys remember Enron? How old are you guys?
I'm 19.
No, we don't.
Okay, you guys don't know Enron. Enron was this company that got busted in, I think it was 2001. I could be wrong. Anybody?
A little bit before us.
Help me out a little bit.
Oh
here.
yeah, I think I've heard a little bit about it. I'm not too familiar with it, but
right. But they were an energy company, and they were flipping the books, doing all this stuff, and they were partying, having all these They were kind of printing their own money in a certain way, in a very what'd you call it? Simple way to look at it, basically. And they wound up, going bankrupt and getting mauled by the government and stuff like that because they're. I think what's kind of happening to our government now is something like that. Basically, they're printing money. Go ahead.
Has been in this government for a very, very long time. And I think personally, because Trump a few weeks ago said, if he is elected, now, I hope he would keep his word to this. He said he would release the JFK files, he'd release the 9/11 files, he'd release the Epstein files. I would hope he would keep his word to all of that. But I think Rudy, and you can hear the argument, well, why haven't they already? They're trying to put him in prison as a last resort. They know they can't beat this man. And, dude, if that doesn't work, then they're going to try to fucking blow his head off.
Let me ask you. You're young. I'm not really sure how you're going to answer this. How are you going to react if Joe Biden wins? If the grift works, they do the mail-in ballots, they do all that stuff, and they're stuffing shit, because obviously they're going to use every single monetary policy to pay people to be mules, to be, whether they're people, there's people inside doing stuff like acting like there's a break-in to take ballots. Make ballots, irrelevant and stuff like that. They're doing all kinds of they're pulling out every possible. That's all they do. let me go on a little rant for this. This is all they do.
Yeah.
All they care about is keeping power, and they do
And they
everything
did it
they
4
can.
years ago.
Right. They're not interested in helping people. They're interested in keeping power, and they will do everything they can. So let me ask you, what's going to happen if Joe Biden actually wins this?
What is my reaction, or
wrong,
what do I think is going to win, or is going to actually happen?
I'm sorry, say it again.
So what is my reaction, or what do I think is going to happen? Because I'd be happy to give you both.
What is your reaction if Joe Biden actually wins?
Dude, I don't want to imagine it. Because first of all, I absolutely think it will be rigged. I don't want to imagine another 4 years of this dude. I really don't. I'm in the position where I do not want to, I'm 19 years old. I'm going to turn 20 at the end of the year. As I, am a young adult and I'm transitioning into adulthood, I don't want to fucking imagine 4 more years of this bullshit. I don't.
Hey, be careful with that, all right? Transitioning into adulthood, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, good point. But that's really the concerns a lot of people have, to the point where they can't afford 4 more years of this. They can't afford, because what's he going to? He's not going to be the president in 4 years if he is elected. It's going to be Kamala, or it's going to, first of all, he's not running the country. It's the generals, it's the people in his administration, and it's Barack Obama and his people.
Right. See, I don't want to say, I'm just not going to give Barack Obama that much credit.
Well, you can't really.
He's a disciple. He's not running anything. People are running him.
Oh, people were running him when he was in the White House.
Right. He's, he'll open his mouth and go full. He'll do, his mouth will fit like a glove. He'll do 5 at once. Fucking CIA. If he's going to get any kind of monetary payout, I don't trust that guy for fucking shit. But I am not going to give him the kind of credit, just like a lot of people give Bush the credit of.
Dude, Bush didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Right. They didn't tell him shit. I believe when 9/11 happened, and they.
Now I'm gonna, Rudy, because now you are more competent than I am to explain the George Bush presidency, both of them, but especially the second Bush, the younger Bush. But from my interpretation, I think there is a difference between Joe Biden and George Bush in terms that they were both absolutely incompetent. But I think Joe Biden, I think he's losing his mind. I don't think he knows where the hell he is. Whereas I just think George Bush is flat out stupid.
Well, George Bush, you got to remember, the deep state ass clowns, they didn't want him in there either. No. They wanted John Kerry, fucking John Kerry, why the long face? That fucking,
well, no, they rigged that 2000 election.
They wanted this dude in there, and they thought he was going to win. And then when George, wound up winning, they did the same thing that they do with the rest of the presidents. They don't tell them shit. They do everything behind the scenes, behind the scenes. And this dude doesn't know anything. And he thinks he's running I think George W. Bush thought, hey, this is my gig and I'm running it and stuff like that. And then
you have to
happen. If you look at the look on his face, I think is sincere. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He had no idea what the fuck that was.
No, he didn't have any idea.
You
gotta think about this.
Stupid, because I think he's become one of them. He's been educated. He went to education camp and he found out what's going on. And you're probably like, hey, shut the fuck up here. Your family ain't going to do so fucking well. One of those jobs, And
let me go ahead and break it down to you, Rudy. I think from the moment George W. Bush got in, and I really can't speak for before, I'm sure it was happening before, but especially from the moment George W. Bush got in, the 8 years of George W. Bush, the 8 years of Barack Obama, that is 16 years. And then the 3.5+ years of Joe Biden. That is at this point, 20 out of 24 years. There's a 4-year gap where we had one man who, no, he is not perfect, but he was in fucking charge. he was not taking any bullshit from anyone. He wanted his hands all over everything.
Yeah.
That is why they don't like Trump.
Right. You think about, just look at it from a corporate level. You got this dude in here that's going to be fucking weeding through everybody. Hey, you ain't worth a shit. You're worth a shit. You're really good. They don't want nobody like that. They don't want a head cutter, They
want to be the head cutters.
Right. They used to call them head cutters back in the day, but nobody wants that. Nobody wants their job cut, so they do whatever they can, to stay in power. And it's really no different than that, ultimately.
No. It's, in my opinion.
The problem is, though, everything they've been doing has been very bad, and they're going to get caught. So it's not like normies. Like, hey, I'm scared for my job because hey, what I go and fucking grab a smoke, in between my breaks, and it's not like that. And I'm not just sticking up for myself because I do that often. I'm just saying, these are people that if there's a long line of corruption that's going to be exposed like real quick here if it goes our way,
And Rudy, you want to know something that I think is very, very interesting as you think about it. First of all, the deep state's absolutely evil. And second off, Alex Jones, I'm sure you know who Alex Jones is, right?
I do know who Alex Jones is.
Yeah, and they've censored that dude for years because listen, you can say all you want about him, he's far right. He's telling the fucking truth on a lot of the shit.
Oh,
his estimations of when stuff may happen might be off.
You saw the Alex was right shirts they're coming out with, right?
Yeah.
Alex was right, Nooper, are you a global FM dude? I'm trying to remember. I remember Nooper. You were a global FM dude, weren't you? If you don't mind me asking. I got to piss here. You have to.
Yeah, no, I'm getting ready. I just wanted to come on and chat with you. I know we haven't chatted in a minute, but we'll be chatting a lot more as this election season heats up because, man, I think us as people, we need to come together. I'm in the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia is going to be one of the few states that decides this election.
Anyway, appreciate being here. Did I say that right? Appreciate you being here, Nooper. Yeah, sorry, I got Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Anyway, cheers, Nooper. Good to see you. Hey, let me piss before you go. If you want to do a rant, man, I'd appreciate it right now.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm actually, I guess I'll wait for him.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a rant.
I mean, what's there to talk about? I could go on for 20 minutes about Joe Biden fucking abuses her husband actively.
Yeah, about 5 minutes, a smoke break.
Hey, man, take your fucking smoke break. And obviously we don't have, very large audience over here, but these are the channels that matter, man. It's these little ass channels they're the ones that matter. It's the regular normal people. And as they find out what is going on, they find out what's happening, and they really reawaken. Because I think after the 2020 election, and I'm not going to lie, this kind of happened to me to the point where it just got to a point where, man, we get it. He's the fucking president. The election was stolen from Trump, but Biden's in the White House. Is he running the show? Probably not. But these past, really few weeks as we inch in, on the most important election of our lifetimes. This is, we hear 2016 is the most important of our lifetime, 2020. This is the most important election that will be in our lifetimes because this is going to determine the direction of this country for the next 50, 60 plus years? Are we going to go in a direction where maybe there's at least, a little bit of hope for the basic American values to the point where families can afford a decent living? Or is it going to be to where this country is just beaten into the gutter? There's wars going on all over the world. If Biden gets a second term, World War III is imminent. If it isn't already at this point. With everything happening in Ukraine, with everything happening over in the Middle East, with stuff happening, China is just licking their chops at Taiwan. Dude, we need a fucking strong ass leader in the White House. And it's not Biden, it's not anyone there right now. And these world leaders were scared of fucking Trump. They didn't know what he was going to do. He was unpredictable, and sometimes you need that.
I concur. I'm going to do the old invite here. Or I'm going to be hurting.
And also the other important thing about this election, I think that this has to be the last hurrah. Because at the end of the day, Biden, if he is elected, I don't even want to imagine it. This would be his second term, and he probably won't even be running it. Trump, if he's elected, this will be his second term. This is it. After this, it is time for Trump to turn over the reins of the Republican Party to the Vivek Ramaswamys and, even the Ron DeSantises of the world, and for, the Democrats to turn it over to their younger generation, who's absolutely fucking cuckoo. But I think one of the things we can both agree on, we need younger candidates. We need people more in line that understand what average Americans are going through every day, other than two old-ass men who, in both their separate ways, have become billionaires. One inherited it. The other, bypassed his way through every, corrupt outlet he could to get to it. They're the people running the country. We need the ordinary people in the White House.
Well, I agree we need younger candidates, but we do need successful people.
We do, but I also think, and
can't put some
I'm
Bernie
going to say
Sanders
this.
dude in there, and he's climate change and the rich are our enemies, and we don't need any more of those guys. I understand what if I was the president, I'd be fucking terrible. I'd be terrible.
It's the hardest job in the world. It's, hard to not, it's the hardest job in the world. No one's going to be perfect at it. But at the end of the day, that's why I think Trump, his strategy in picking his VP, and maybe he's already picked him, it needs to be one where he is honestly looking at, who can fucking take this baton from me and grow this movement. Because MAGA cannot just be Make America Great Again. It has to have a further meaning deeper into it.
Any suggestions?
Who can do that? And to me, I think, no one has positioned themselves better, especially in the past year, than Vivek.
Yeah. Nooper, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. You guys remember the Tea Party, right? I know they've been scathed over the years by the media, and they try to rewrite history. But you remember the Tea Party started during the Bush years, the George W. Bush years, and it was about fiscal responsibility. And I don't mind that so much. I mean, if we need to call it something else or whatever, just to do some wordsmithing of our own. I think that's a great start, is to keep getting more of the people their money instead of the fucking government having it, you know? What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, look, I think when we're talking about financial responsibility, that needs to be taught in schools. And I think that that's up to, that's why, every kid is given a parent, and we were all kids at some point, and we're all given a parent for a reason because they're supposed to teach us this stuff. And I think also, it's on behalf of the school system to also do some of that. I think majority of it needs to come from the parents. And I don't think a lot of parents do a good enough job at actually teaching their kids and really sitting down with them. This is how you handle money. This is how, you budget. And, eventually you want to get to a point where you're making so much money, you really don't have to worry about that. But everyone has to start from nothing or has to start from the bare minimum and work their way up, And yeah, you might get people like Donald Trump who inherited, billions from his daddy. You might get people like, the Bushes, who corruption just runs through that family. Joe Biden has created a corrupt path for his family to be a bunch of billionaires for generations to come. But not everyone gets that privilege.
Right. Nooper, what do you think? You got anything to say about that?
Well, yeah, I think it's hard to argue about having, the skill sets to go into life and be able to manage money, be able to plan for like retirement on your own. You've got to kind of take the control of your own life when you can and things like that. So, I agree that is very helpful to have. And I also agree that it's not maybe stress as much as a teaching tool when it should be. Because if you don't learn how to do it when you're making very little, you're not going to learn how to do it when you're making a lot.
Yeah. And then you're just going to blow through it. And by the time, you're 70 years old working a job. And that's the other thing, too. I am 19, going to be 20 at the end of this year. Dude, when I'm an old ass man, I might be working till I die at this rate. Especially with where Social Security's headed, retirement is headed. They're just beating, this shit into the ground.
Well, yeah, the overspending is. I hate to revert back to that, but when you dilute the dollar, it's exponential. It just keeps going, And there's so many generations that are going to have to pay this debt off. I mean, how many people even think that we're actually going to pay our debt off?
It's not going to happen in any of our lifetimes.
Right. You think about that, but you think about this, you flip flop it. Somebody of your age should have an IRA. I don't know necessarily a 401k or a Keel, but hopefully your parents might have put money away from you, or not away from you, but away for you, for like I think there's kid IRAs or something. You could put like up to $500 in or something like that. There's a lot of great incentive to teach your kids how to invest, what the value of time and interest, that whole thing. I mean, if you ever, when you see the numbers for the first time, it's like,
dude, and that's why,
like, wow.
Do you know, one of the things I think is kind of an important distinction here is, the country as a whole, we're not going to come out of the debt that we're in.
Oh no,
but Joe Blow doesn't need to be running his life like the country runs their budget, because nobody, the country has nuclear weapons. Joe Blow doesn't have nuclear weapons. So there's going to be a different set of reckoning coming to you. So you need to learn how to, spend within your means, invest, have, just good, sound financial principles. And that totally will help you in life, no matter if you're making, 30,000 a year or you're making 300,000 a year. you need to know how money works and how debt works, how investment works. Like you were
Right.
saying earlier, when you see compounding interest, you can tell somebody when they're younger and say, hey, you invest $1,000 now, in 40 years, that's going to be worth, 90,000. And they're like, what? That makes no sense. How could it be possible? But when you like look at the numbers, that's how that works because you're reinvesting the money that you're earning over and over, over and over. And the time helps you if you can get in early. If you're in late, you lose all that time and that compound interest. And it's so much harder to catch up.
And like here's the thing I've kind of been doing. I've already started investing a little bit into like crypto and stuff like that because it's like, yeah, I'm only investing a little bit, but who knows what the fuck that could be worth in 20, 30, 40 years. I go back and I remember and I see, oh shit, look at how much this is fucking turned into.
And you know what I would recommend? And there's a story, you can look for it online. I forget who the guy is, but Roth IRAs. So they put Roth IRAs in as a different investment option to 401k, which is like your traditional 401k. You get paid, they take your taxes out, you put some money in to your retirement fund, and that's kind of how that works.
Right.
And then the difference with the Roth IRA, oh, sorry, I reversed that. The 401k, you put your money in before the taxes come out.
Right. Right.
And then later on, when you're retired and you're withdrawing it, then you pay the taxes. The Roth IRA is like the opposite. So you pay the taxes on the money up front, and then it sits there in your Roth IRA account. And when you withdraw it, assuming you don't withdraw it too early, because there's penalties and that sort of thing, if you're trying to, go have a Vegas party when you're 30 or something. But assuming you take it till you're retired, you don't pay taxes when you take it out. And so one of these, Silicon Valley type people put money in the Roth IRA, and they invested in some startup companies that succeeded, and then they sold those, but they never cashed out of the Roth IRA. So it all stayed in there, and they paid taxes on the whatever $20,000 they put in.
Right. The
And their
pros. Is that what they
Roth
call it?
IRA is like $5 billion now, and they will not pay a penny of taxes when that comes out,
Right.
unless the government sues them, which I assume they will. But anyway, for when you're younger, if you can, and I totally get the crypto going into that, but if you want to go into something that is little more traditional but not super traditional, the Roth IRA is great because you could pay taxes now, and God knows what taxes are going to be in 50 years when you need to get the money back out. So during that 50-year time, you could invest in the next Apple or the next Google or the next whoever,
Right.
and you could make 50 times that money, and you don't have to pay the taxes that you would in a traditional retirement vehicle.
Right. If everything holds still, and see, that's
Yeah,
the
and
problem with
yeah,
politics is
who knows?
whoever the biggest winner is, the government goes after. So
Hmm.
if they look and be like, oh, look at all these Roth IRA people, they got all this money, they're not paying their fair share. You got your Bernie's. This, like I said, with the normies, a lot of people hate people that have stuff better than them, which is, I think, is part and parcel to how you grow up and stuff like that in a certain sense. But back on what you were talking about with the Roth IRA, it's even worse than that. I mean, especially we're not talking about millionaires anymore, boys. We're talking about billionaires. And if you look at just look at the little hashtags, the little thing after the one and how many zeros are behind it. Somebody, I mean, this is 2024. So somebody born in 2024, if they're 16 and they're washing dishes and they start putting money away, we might be dipping into the trillions, and it sounds ridiculous, but it's not. Everything is happening so fast now. It's like exponential. Um,
I don't know a single person that I ever talked to that said, "Boy, I wish I didn't invest as young as I did." Everybody, because when you put money in early, you just get so much more on the back end. And I know it's annoying because like you want to go do fun, and it's a balancing act, of course. You don't want to do nothing until you're, 80 and then you can't walk around like some presidential candidates. Um, you want to be able to enjoy the money when you have it, but at the same time, that money can just like do so much for you later. But it's something you really have to work at, and it's really easy not to.
well, and there's also the work portion of it. If you ever wanted to get into that kind of industry or anything, something like that might vault you into knowing numbers and knowing how things work just by starting to invest and watching the numbers. Like, holy shit, okay, now I got 10,000 in there. And like you said about compound interest, once you understand that, it's it's empowering in a certain
Yeah.
sense. I'm not trying to be like me too hashtag or anything like that. I'm just saying once you realize like, wow, there's some money in there and it keeps going. Um, you realize the power of you didn't really do too much. I mean, you did your work, you made your money, you set it aside, you were disciplined, and there's a reward there, and it's fucking huge
Yeah.
if
And
you're
I
just
think
disciplined enough to do that.
I think you hit it nail on the head there. The most important thing is you got to follow through with it, and don't. It's as I mean, by nature, it is these get rich quick schemes. Somebody says,
Right.
"Hey, give me your 50 grand. By the end of the month, I'll give you 100." Like, you know, y- you have to have some like I guess smarts or whatever to know when a deal is
Right.
too good to be true. But some of this stuff, even what they, index tracking funds where you're just investing in something that follows the Dow or the,
The
NASDAQ
S&P.
500, whatever,
Right.
it's totally brain dead investing in a way. And what you're counting on, I guess, in that situation is that the market's going to go up. And now, does the market always go up? No, not always. We saw it with COVID. Obviously, it dropped. We've seen many times over the past where it's dropped, and you hope you don't put it all in right before the Great Depression or something. But overall, if you're able to ride out 10 years, you're going to be up, you know, and it does make a big difference. And I just like think people, I don't know, it's hard a lot of times to imagine or like believe that it could that's what's going to happen. Like I don't know. I know a lot of people that they think that well, life is bound to screw them over all the
Oh,
time. And
right,
so
right, right,
they're like, "Oh, I want to put it in gold or I want to put it in the mattress, so to speak." And
right. And I'm not against gold by any means,
no.
but gold has the same symptoms that the market does, and I
Hmm.
always kind of get leery every time somebody says that. Hey, put your money in gold. I'm just like, oh, wait, hold on a second. You okay, gold isn't going to be zero, but you can still
Right.
put money into gold. It could be 100, and now it's 50. It's not. It will always be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just and I think it's a good investment, but it's not like the best or anything. I mean,
No.
not even
No.
not
I,
even
I
close.
I agree with you. I think you want, a mix,
Right,
diversification, because
right,
any one thing could just sink you. You know, if you put all your money, well, there's many different companies, but like Enron or something, put all your money in that.
Good old Enron.
Yep, not going to do so good.
How
And
old are you? How old are you, Newper, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 47.
Okay, so you kind of remember the Enron thing and the pictures of them partying and stuff
Oh
like
yeah, oh yeah, yep.
that. It just kind of cracks me up now because okay, back on what I was saying before.
No, I mean,
Ugh.
I guess just for investments in general, I think that you really, for anybody, I don't know who's listening now or who cares about it, but I think like the basics of investing, if you really care about your future and your monetary future, I should say, you could learn so much in about 2 to 3 hours. That would all it would be take, and you could get like the basics of how markets work, um, different investment vehicles, what I'm looking at in terms of 20 years from now, 40 years from now. You would be so much more prepared than just somebody who's just doesn't know anything or just winging it or throwing in lottery tickets, I mean, there's a reason why the rich people are so rich, and it's not because they're not buying lottery tickets. And I agree, they have other options we don't have that helps them out a great deal.
Right, right, but there are, there's conduits of greatness. I mean, like Rich Dad Poor Dad. You ever read that
Hmm.
book by chance? Or
I've not, but I've heard about it, and I'm familiar
oh,
with
that's
its stuff.
great. I mean,
Yeah,
and it's the mentality. It's more about the mentality of
yeah,
how people get rich and who's successful. And obviously, a lot of successful people go bankrupt,
yeah, yeah.
come back out of it, because they just never stop. That kind of personality. Pardon me,
No
but
problem.
yeah, that was a good one. Um, Kind of what you're talking about, dollar cost averaging, that really helps.
Mhm.
When you're just kind of laying money on, okay, I believe the American market's probably going to do well because it has for 200 years or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're going to
And
be in this market for at least another 10 years, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to get in the market.
right,
Like,
that's a good start. You're right,
mhm,
because 10 years gives you that the compound bracket that you
yep.
want to fit in. It needs to have some kind of time over it, or you're going to be disappointed. Probably.
And you're getting through at least two presidencies. There's, all sorts of ups and downs that are going to happen in that 10 years. So it's not going to be like a rocket to the moon or anything, but
Right,
you're
right,
overall, like you're saying, it might be a great 10 years. It might be a so-so 10 years, but
right,
you're probably churning out up money than you would be, you know. I don't,
right.
there's not other countries. I don't know. I would say that about.
Oh, certainly the volatility is too it's too great
Hmm.
in other countries. I mean, even Europe, I wouldn't even, they're, even though if you look at them, they're as big as we are, but they're a bunch of states. I mean, you could go there, but like politically, I think it's such a roller coaster. And I'm not talking about Sweden and all that stuff. I know they got when you talk politics and you go into semi-socialist, capitalist kind of countries, but there's a trust thing there. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
if it wasn't for us, they still wouldn't exist. And I'm not trying to throw them to the curb or anything like that, but a lot of those guys be like, well, we don't need a military. We got the US. They'll always have our fucking back. So we
Yep.
can, keep our economy going and not have to worry about too much. So the strength of America is like ridiculous. I don't
Oh,
think really people
absolutely.
understands. So
I mean,
go
when
ahead.
you look at like you rank countries, I agree that there's some things where you look at like I don't know, best baseball team ever. You put the 27 Yankees at the top, and then it's a drop off from there. it's kind of like America. Like, I don't know who number 2 is. There's a few candidates maybe, but they're
Oh,
not
right.
close to number 1.
Well,
No offense.
everybody says China because they use their money well. You know, they're money strategists. You know,
Mhm.
everything they do has to do with money. If we fought them, we destroy them. They
I
just
agree. Yeah.
they'd be fucking gone. I
Right.
don't care what anybody says. Their military is garbage. I mean, they're still flying rockets into fucking villages and killing the whole villages and all kinds of shit like that. However, they are getting better. Um, but I mean, when it comes to, they're still our bitch. I don't fucking care what anybody says. And
Have
we
you
have,
seen any of their I don't know what they call them, but they're like financial system. So they built these planned communities where they built buildings to house thousands of people that never people never move in. And so there's just these shells of buildings that
yeah,
contractors were given government contracts to build, so they built them. And they're sitting there like these just giant 50, 60-story apartment buildings that are empty.
yeah,
Um, and then they build more because that's how they're like making their economy run. Um, and I certainly think militarily, uh, they're not in your top group for sure.
yeah. I
Um,
agree.
they know that I think probably they know they would, if they tried to be, they would be in trouble with Russia, who's right next door. So they probably take a back seat and just kind of say, hey, we're going to follow what you guys do. But yeah, as far as the financial part, they're a little, they're in the top 10 for sure. Um, but you look around and you say like, give me a cross section of military and economic and just political influence. I don't know that you're going to find somebody. Yeah, I would think, and that's difficult because I am in the US, so I don't know for sure, but I would think that the US would be like easily the number one country you want on your side in any of this stuff. Like Palestine is seeing that the US is backing Israel. That's not a good feeling for them, I'm sure. And um I would think that would go for Russia right now and this is not like anything new for them, but um, we're giving Ukraine weapons and we're saying, go ahead and use these weapons. That's I'm sure Russia's not happy about it. And Russia does have some military power to kind of say, think about what you're doing. But at the same time, Russia probably knows the US and their allies we're probably not going to really stand a chance, if things were to go to all to DEFCON 5 or whatever. But
Right,
uh,
right. Well, that's when you get the laundering thing into the scheme. It just makes so much sense. You know, just keep the war going. We'll keep funneling money in there,
mhm.
and that's when everything gets bracketed off into all our pals and stuff like that. That gets, yeah, because uh, I like Russia, man. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
um, I actually believe Donald Trump when he says, don't go in there while I'm here, motherfucker. I'm gonna fucking stop you. And as soon as he was out of there, he's like, it's not just that position that I hold. I mean, 2012, 2013, 2014, these guys were moving towards the border saying, we want this land back. I mean, it was 10 years before or 8 years before that they started doing this.
Mhm.
Everybody knew this. This was like
Oh yeah, there was a full skirmish beforehand, many years ago beforehand, and it was
Oh, right.
yeah,
They were
completely.
screaming on the border, "Hey, we're gonna
Mhm.
fucking take this shit."
Yep.
You know? So, I mean, the fact that I don't know, maybe Obama was like, "Hey, wait till I'm out of here," you know?
Right. I got other things to do. I got to write my book.
And like I said, I don't get that fucking clown any devious credit, towards being a bad guy. He's just a fucking shill. He's a shell of a dude. I'm never going to believe that he's some kind of um, evil mastermind or anything. He's just a fucking bad guy,
Yeah.
and he'll do whatever it takes to get himself forward. He's no different than Clinton, in my opinion. Either of them.
Well, it's kind of like yeah, one of those things where now I don't know how many years are we into this now? Two and a half. I honestly don't remember when it started. This recent skirmish. But
The Zelensky thing, or
yeah, yeah. But it's I I think initially, of course, everyone gets. I I I don't know if you call it a TikTok effect or what you call it, but you know, everyone gets all up in arms about things, and then it just looks like at this point now, I don't want to say it's forgotten because it's not forgotten. People know it's still going on, but it's not like got the I don't know, impact that it would for a politician to say, "Hey, I'm doing this or I want to do that about that area."
right.
Where it kind of shifted now, where you have this other thing going on in Israel and Palestine, and then I sort of feel like that's going to kind of fade out when as this election comes up. Like the American public can only keep one thing in their mind at a time. I think.
Yeah,
Um,
I think there's no there about trends and that whole thing, how trends work, and if you are in the market at all, you kind of understand psychological patterns. Are you big on technical analysis, like in the market at all, or?
oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. So I mean, every dollar bought is a psychology in the making. Whether
yep.
it's whatever stock you're looking at. Um, Things do what they do because people do what they do, and despite the value of a company, because I was a big technical analysis dude. I was just like, hey, it doesn't matter what this do. You watch
No, GameStop or AMC or any of those.
right, you're talking about the recents, but
Hmm.
if you watched Amazon,
Oh yeah,
Amazon was I don't know, $400 a share, and it was like beyond like what the this is ridiculous. Can't believe that this is happening. And when you realize people that knew what he was doing were getting in, you know,
yeah.
hey, don't pay $200 a share for Amazon. Oh no, oh my God, $300. That's so overvalued. And all the clowns that are buying into that shit were telling people to stay out of it, you know. And look at what Amazon did. I know a lot of people, politically with Bezos and all that stuff. But that was brilliant what he was doing. He sold fucking used books. He
And
sold
it's
fucking used books.
on a computer in his parents' garage.
He's Amazon.com
Yep,
now.
yep.
Who doesn't? I mean, nothing against Elon or anything because I think Elon is the shit. That's fucking brilliant.
No, I agree. And j- like you just said there, it started as books. We don't think of and when you talk to somebody about Amazon right now, the number one thing that comes to mind is not books. It's I can order whatever I want, or it's
Right.
I can watch TV. I have all these things on TV, or I see all their trucks in the streets. They're delivering all these packages, or
My
it's a
dog is
million.
barking at him,
Yeah, it's a
right?
million different things, but it's not selling books anymore. You know,
Isn't that
he
wonderful though? See that, you know, whether you're, whatever political side you are, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that that dude did that. And watching over the last 20 years and watching CNBC, CNN, and watching their brilliant financial analysis, and watching them talk this dude down like fuck the whole fucking time. It was just awesome, So one of those things I'll just never forget.
You know, and
Amazon they're not making any money. Do not,
yep.
How can a company that's not making any money or losing $1.50 a share be at 250 right now?
Well, I think that's kind of what I guess I don't think we've adopted to this yet, but I think it changed a lot of the mindset of the regulations that we had in place was people just assumed that if you were going to lose millions or billions of dollars, no one would invest in you. But that's not the case anymore.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's proven not to be, and there's proven to be
That's a valid
times
point.
where it's
Valid point.
changed. So you look at somebody like I'm gonna throw out Uber losing millions and millions every month. Uber's strategy is, hey, guess what? I'm going to get so popular that your taxi medallions in New York City that you're spending whatever $250,000 to drive a taxi, I don't spend any of that. And I'm going to be so much easier to use. And not only in New York City, but any city in America, that we're going to just like be de facto the place to go. And on the way, we're going to throw everyone else out. And if I have to subsidize the earnings of the drivers in the meantime, I'll do it, and we'll lose money and I'll be fine with it because I'm looking at a, 10-year picture. I'm not looking at like I need to make money today. And I don't think that like when a lot of these rules were written into law, people thought that was anything where someone would say, hey, I don't mind losing money for 10 years in a row if I think I can come out the other side and, make millions.
Right. But I was just looking at an Elon Musk post on Twitter. And he said, it's a terrible thing when an 18-year-old could borrow $100,000 to go to college, but he can't borrow $10,000 of a business loan.
Yeah.
And that's fucking huge to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to love it and like it like 50 times, and try to keep it out there, but like that's fucking brilliant. That's a great point.
I feel like, and I'm gonna make one point and then I'm gonna take a little pee break, but
yeah, I have to too.
I really think that more so maybe in the last, I don't know, 5 years, let's say, the idea of getting a college education, I think a college education is great. So I'm not going to take that away from anybody who gets it or wants it, but I don't think it's ranked as in high regard now as it was maybe 5 to 10 years ago, because
yeah, certainly not.
it's, first of all,
we know the because.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a lot of us know the because.
Yes, yes. So that's the because we could skip that part. We'll add to that.
I mean,
The
look
cost.
Right, they destroyed themselves, didn't they?
Yeah.
Uber? I mean, right in front of our faces.
And I don't know what they were expecting. Like, that's the weird part. What were you expecting? Like, the whole idea of, to me, I guess my impression of a college education was you would pick a major that you would want to become more of an expert in, and that makes sense. And you would get a couple, like maybe classes to round out your knowledge, And then when you graduated, the idea would be you would go into that industry of whatever you wanted to major in, and there you go. And having this degree would prove that not only, I think one of the big things of a degree, and I still think it's true, is it proves that you're able to stick to a plan for 4 years, which is impressive. You
Right.
know,
Right.
I think that's underrated. But the other thing that I think that, you know, it's doing now and nowadays is it's not as concerned about educating you, maybe, and it's not as concerned about, bringing up other view, like, let's say, your channel
Diversity.
here where we can talk about whatever.
Right.
I know you would have anybody who wants to come on to StreamYard and talk has a spot on the floor here.
Oh, yeah, I better
Uh,
do that, huh?
And I
Good point.
guarantee you would have them on, like, no matter what their point was, right?
Right. That
I
is true.
assume so. I don't think that's the case with a lot of universities. I think they would say, like, here's what our opinion is, um, and you don't have one, well, or you have something that disagrees, well, it's wrong because of these reasons. And there would not be an argument as to why it wrong is, like, you couldn't debate why it's wrong. They would just tell you it's wrong and it's wrong.
Right. Right.
That's a problem that I have with it.
Yeah, the commie rule is I think I really do think in the bottom of everybody's heart, they understand it. And I don't wish that upon anybody, but usually that's when they realize their thought process was so wrong,
Mhm.
when it happens to them, unfortunately, which is it's too late, usually
Yeah.
at that point, you're at the bottom.
Yeah, yeah. I
You're at the bottom and you're being ruled. And there's more of you than you thought. It's not just you, it's everybody, it's and then there's revolt, that's where everything springs into action and people try to get out
well,
of it.
and that's the beauty of the free market is we have all these institutions where people are like, this isn't what we're looking for. Someone else can start one up and say, I'm going to provide this for you. This is what you're wanting, um, and you could succeed, and it will be different than I don't know, whoever you want to, any of the Ivy League schools, whoever, I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't.
State,
I
you
think
know,
they really did hurt themselves this last
I,
decade. That's
I
for sure.
think so. Yeah, I really think so. I think I've seen so many instances, even before the stuff with the Israel-Palestine conflict, which I know the camp stuff like really brought some of it to a head.
Yeah, that's you know what, Nooper, let me piss real quick because
Yeah,
I
me too. Me
you
too.
want to go piss?
Yeah, okay. I'll be right back.
Sure. Yeah, I'm kind of back, but I'm gonna grab a quick smoke if you don't mind. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right here, but if you want to talk, Cooper, if you're there, I'm gonna be right here smoking, doing the sliding glass door thing. So, oh shit, it rained. Wow, it rained. That's weird. Luther, you got your headgear on?
I got it back on. Yep.
What's it? Are those like turtles or something, or what do you got on?
It's a Jabra something or other. I don't know. It's
Are they
something.
cool?
I don't think they're that cool. I stole it from work. So I always wore this at work as a trucker, where you have the one ear covered and the other ear open, even though this has two ears. And so the left ear now is like dangling. I need to cut it off and make it like.
What do you do if you don't mind me asking? You don't have to get personal or anything, but
No, that's fine. I do computer programming.
oh no shit.
Yeah. I've been doing that. Well, I guess
You don't have a channel?
I don't. No, I'm not a big social media person. I don't do any of that. So I'm gonna say when I was about 7 or 8 years old, my mom got me a Commodore 64 computer.
Oh my God.
And I started programming on that thing. Just for, obviously for fun. You're an 8-year-old kid. She wasn't making me work. But I was, right.
Learn this thing, hurry.
I just started doing it then. And it was one of those things I grew into. And I'm like, I really enjoy this. And that's what I've been doing my whole life. So.
Dude, my cousin, who, my family all lived around each other in the same city or whatever. But we had, when I was a kid, we had four. I really do live in a small town. It's really small. However, we had 4 elementary schools.
Oh, wow.
My cousin had a Commodore 64. And he would write programs at his school, and I was just like, I didn't even fucking know anything about computers. And he's like down the street, and his his elementary school was talking programming just like what you're talking about. And I think he's probably about your age, actually. And he made a fucking game. He made a fucking game, like he wrote like a program for a game and he named it and all that stuff. I'm like, what? We just got Atari, for God's sakes. This dude's on his Commodore 64, is that you again?
Yeah. It's a big guy.
Anyway, cheers.
Always got to get his 10%.
I know you're underage, but cheers anyway. Have a drink of soda, all right? Damn kids, getting smarter than we are. I'm not really sure what the point of my story was, but I just thought that was fascinating that at that age that you were doing that kind of stuff. And
yeah, when I was, let's say, I don't remember the exact age, but let's say like 13, I made a program once on the Commodore 64 called the Breakfast Entertainer. And it had like trivia things, little games, and it would cycle through it. And I put it on the breakfast table, and then I made everyone eat breakfast around this thing, and then we would watch it. And it was like a precursor to just like the random crap that you would see on the internet today, where they give you little 2-second things to get you enticed into whatever. I did that when I was 13.
Like a touch screen or something, like a.
Yeah, it would have like little, I don't know, pictures or word searches or just like little things for you to do while you're eating breakfast, and then every minute it would change the screen to something else. And
No shit.
yeah,
Holy shit. That's fucking fascinating, man.
yeah. When I was younger, I wanted to build like computer games and stuff. But then
You got any favorite games, or what do you think about the genre now? I mean, the gaming genre.
oh gosh, I'm probably the worst to mention to answer that, but I love right now. There's a game, and it's an old person's game, so apologies to whoever. But Balatro is the name of it.
Balatro.
Balatro. So how kind of like the basics of it. It's poker. So you get a poker hand, and I think the default you get 7 cards, but you pick 5 out of the 7, you make a poker hand, and you get points based on how good the poker hand is. But the twist is, the fun part is, you buy these joker cards, and there's over 100 different jokers, and they do different things to your hand. So like one joker is, you can make a straight where you skip a number. So you could have like 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and that counts as a straight.
Right.
Another hand might be like spades and clubs count as the same suit, and hearts and diamonds count as the same suit. So there's all these jokers that you buy, and then it's almost like the other video games where you beat these bosses and they get greater and greater as you go, like higher and higher. So every round you're having to beat tougher and tougher bosses with your poker scores, but you gain money and you can buy more jokers that give you all these extra advantages. So that's what I've been doing for, I don't know, the past month or so. That's my game, Balatro.
It does sound fucking awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of addictive. And
Yeah.
the bad part is, the worst part of the game is you start and you're like, okay, I got this thing going. Because you can like take cards in and out of your deck, and like you can like kind of tune it up. So let's say you're going for, you're going to work on flushes, and you get these other cards. You can trade your hearts for clubs. And so you've got 20 clubs and like 3 hearts in your deck, and you're going good. And then you get to the boss level, and it's like clubs don't count. And it's like, oh, damn it. I can't get past this now.
Okay, so the game's like it impedes you at the same time. It's not going to
does
give
a
you.
little. I'm not sure how much it knows what it's doing versus just random. But yeah,
Oh,
but sometimes it does get in the way. And the worst part is because you spend like 20 minutes to get there, and then you'll hit something and you're like, oh, I can't get the way I have my deck set up, I can't get past this. But there's other cards that let you like re-roll and get a new boss. So I mean, it's just really fun. I enjoy it a lot. But yeah, every like run through is about, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes.
all right.
So
Let's write this down so I got it. I need a pen. Yeah, let me get the. Don't mind me asking, what is the actual name of the game? Can you spell it out for me?
I certainly can. It's Balatro. It's Balatro. And it's on PC. They even have it on Xbox, PlayStation. It's on everything.
VALA.
B is in boy.
B.
Yeah.
Okay. BALATRO.
Yes.
All right.
And it's like 12, 13 bucks, something like that.
Oh, all right. That's it.
It's not that bad. Yeah,
That's it. Never gonna play it. Thought it was gonna be free. You know what's funny? as a game payer, I've come around to this generation not wanting to pay for shit, you know.
Yep.
I got real big on that, you know.
Hey, well, you know what? I bet you it'll be on the one of those Steam sales at 75% off because it came out in February, so it's about time for a sale.
Yeah, yeah. Good old fire sale, huh?
Yeah.
Love it. So, did you ever get any of the action or anything like that? Or was always strategic and
Yeah, I've rarely had action games, but I do mostly sports games, to be honest. Um, like I love MLB The Show. That's
Oh
probably
yeah, dude. Love
my favorite of recent games. Madden, of course, and I'm glad NCAA football is coming back.
Yeah,
I
that was
really like that back when it used to be out.
that's pretty much like my mojo was like MLB The Show, Madden. I'll probably get the NCAA game, and then obviously I'm waiting on fucking GTA 6 in a year.
GTA 6? You know, Falcon, you're a morally sound dude, and it just cracks me up how we just have to have our little evil like in every corner of it. I guess that's another thing I wanted to talk about. You know, everybody, I'm a horror fan, and even though I think my morals are sound, there's it's just like there's something like that. I don't know, maybe sadistic, maybe I don't know. I don't mean to go there, but I watch a good horror film and it's just like, oh, anything that like makes me my gut wrench or something like that. And I'm just like, wow, that's a good flick, man. That was a good kill. And I know I'm laughing about that, and that sounds even more sadistic, but I just find that amazing, that there's urges, I guess, or something like that. Is that urges? No, that's not the right word. Um, attractions. I mean, ever since I was a kid, even though we played Dungeons and Dragons, my favorite part wasn't playing Dungeons and Dragons. It was reading the monster manuals and seeing what all the
Mhm.
monsters did. That was, they were all terrible, but I loved reading all the, stuff for them.
I
So,
I I spent probably 5 times as much reading as I did actually playing Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah, I wasn't. I think it's the whole control thing. I didn't like how there was like a dungeon master and stuff like that. I just kind of wanted
Mhm.
to fantasize and read about the monsters and how cool they were and stuff like that. But it was also a learning experience. I'll see stuff on my shorts like the 9 devils of hell or the 8 devils of hell or something like that, and they'll name them. Hey, there's Daniel Barry. How you doing, bro, Chacho? Um, I would just kind of find them fascinating. I is it natural to feel the opposition fascinating, or
I think so. Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it because I feel that, but and that's okay, right? Because I feel it.
My mom was well, she found religion, I guess, later in life for her, and she was not a fan of the Dungeons and Dragons during that era. She thought it was I don't know if she really believed. I really doubt that she thought it was satanic or anything, but I think she thought it wasn't in line with Christian values. So she
Oh,
wasn't a fan of that in my
so
youth.
wait a minute. Your mother, she wasn't Christian up until she became an adult. Is that?
Yeah, well, no,
And
I
as
mean
she has kids, or
she was, but she just wasn't adherent to it for a long time.
right, right. Till
So
you came
it's
along, right?
yeah, right. Until, well, I think a little probably after she got divorced was she needed something to kind of pull her life back together, and I think that worked as that for her.
Some
So
solidity, some sound
yeah,
structure or whatever.
yeah,
Are
I would.
you an only child or?
No, I've got a younger sister. She's 1 year younger than me. But I just think that she had like because her mom was her mom was a secretary at a Baptist church. Um, so I think she maybe had a youthful rebellion against it, and then once she didn't have the greatest breaks in life for her, she thought, well, maybe my mom's onto something. She went back to it, and then when she did, she's like, well, I don't know about this Dungeons and Dragons. But she was never like super like horrible. I mean, she didn't like burn my books or anything.
Like Donald Trump.
Right. It was
Burning all
just
the Franz Turkey books, he
right.
burns them
It
all
just
over the
it was not encouraged to play Dungeons and Dragons. Let's just say that.
right. Well, when I get that, women are horrified by um what would you call it, sightly in that genre.
Yeah.
It is about orcs, you name it. Everything is, which I find interesting. Everything is so much not us.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of people that, like you said, like your mom might have felt, they're just so, it's so off of us. They don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, and well, and certainly back in that time, if you were looking for a women's rights point of view, that was not a area you would look at. I don't know that she even thought about that, to be fair, but nowadays it's different. We have our Marvel women heroes that we make movies about, you know.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh so much.
No,
I'm the gesture, and I'm gonna laugh at, if I
I,
think it's funny, I'm just not gonna
hey
fucking
man,
stop.
well, I get you. I get you.
That's great, though. That's good. It's a good setup. Good setup. Good comedy there.
Hmm.
Oh, that's good. No, you're right with the Marvel stuff, and they, what cracks me up, Nooper, is they act like it hasn't been done before, that they're breaking ground or something like that, and I
Yeah.
just sit back and like, you're just like 2 years old or something. Have you not seen what's happened in fucking history? Are you kidding me?
Hmm.
Oh, God, that kills me. Are you a Critical Drinker fan or?
A critical drinker. I never heard of that. What's that?
Really?
Oh,
Oh, Critical Drinker, man, he's awesome.
I'll have to check that out.
Oh, you gotta check him out now, man. He's fucking cool. Well, for one thing, he drinks. He doesn't drink while he does his videos. He's not like us.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
He's not like me, where he starts a live stream and they're drinking and they start getting fucked up. Oh my God, I can't believe you haven't heard of the fucking Critical Drinker.
No, well, I'll definitely look that up. I've been into right now. I know this is another one. You probably know it, but Red Letter Media. Have you heard of Red Letter Media?
Red Blooder?
No, Letter. Red Letter Media.
Red Letter.
All they do. Well, I'm going to take this back. That's not all they do. One of the things that they do that's very funny is they review just horrible movies, like made for DVD movies, and even worse than that.
Oh, right. The fundamentals of horror.
But they make fun of regular movies, so they'll also review regular movies that suck. And it's three of them are like the main guys, but there's sort of a rotating cast. They have like Macaulay Culkin shows up a lot as a correspondent. Yes, he's very funny.
That's cool.
They do a thing called
So
it's like
they have power. They have pull.
they're
They have a big
based
channel and
yeah, their YouTube channel, they're based out of around Milwaukee somewhere. They do a thing periodically, which is like
Milwaukee. Yeah.
a Jenga tower of VHS tapes. So you can imagine stacking VHS tapes like 5 across, and then the next row you do it like the opposite direction, so it alternates back and forth. And then you poke these tapes out like you would a Jenga game, where you don't want the tower to fall down. And then whoever's tower falls down, their penalty is they have to watch the other tapes that the other person pulled out. And these tapes
Oh,
are all over the board. There was one on CPR training for infants. There was one on how to talk to your adults about when it's time to maybe go to assisted living.
oh God.
There's ones about gun safety
Some of
for
them are like
women.
documentary type movies. I take it.
There are all sorts of things. There was
Or
one
is it
about
like a dramatization document? Or
no, it's dead serious. These are real movies that somebody put
no,
out
I
for
mean,
something.
but right, they do a
Yeah,
dramatization, like they're teaching you, like they're educating you.
yeah, they're just reacting to it. They watch it, and then they show parts of it. You watch it. Like one was some county was having a yard sale, and it was a random black videotape. It had no label on the Jenga tower that they pulled out,
Ooh.
and it was like, okay, well, we have these 10 dumpsters for sale. Come get these. And it was a videotape where they're detailing the dumpsters. It's just all sorts of craziness.
Holy shit.
They're very funny, and so it has a good variety of really long ones. One of the main things they do is they do 3 videos at once. So they'll pick 3 just dumb, horrible 80s, 90s videos, and then they pick which one is the best of the worst. And you don't watch them all. They like edit them down to like
They trailer them up and
yeah, you get
yeah,
like 20
right.
minutes for each one. Each one is probably 90 minutes on their own, but they pick the best parts and they talk about what's going on. And
Yeah, I'll
they're
fucking check them out.
yeah, that's good. I think they're really funny. That's one that I go to. I try to do my exercise bike. I actually try to do it every day. I don't do it every day, but I would say 6 out of 7 days a week, about 45 minutes. That's my goal. Try to keep somewhat active because as a computer programmer, I sit in the chair all day. I don't really do anything. So I want to do something to like kind of keep active. Well, it's true. I don't.
I'm sorry, Rupert.
Oh man, I need to get another beer. Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly. I gotta keep a little active.
I got you. I got you. Oh, I'm a glutton, man. I gotta eat like shit that I love, and I eat it until I'm like done. I don't know. Are you like that? Is anybody else like that? I mean, I eat until I'm like sick of it, and um I do the hand motion like I don't eat like that. So
I
I'm just
get it.
saying,
Yeah, I get it.
I like something, I'll eat it, and then I might eat it for dinner, and then I might eat for breakfast.
I hear
I'll
you.
do this,
Yep.
and the old lady's just like, "Hey, aren't you sick of this already?" Um. Oh God, that's funny. 45 minutes.
That's
on
what I
a
try to
block.
do. I try to do 45 minutes.
Okay,
I actually do 45 minutes. So I don't know why I'm saying I'm trying to do it. I honestly do it.
you do it 3
Yeah.
times a week?
No, 6 days a week.
6 days a
At
week? Well,
least, at
that's
least.
great.
Sometimes I do 7. I'm not like, I don't have, I
Oh,
try to
there
do
are
it every
7
day.
days in a week.
There are.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute, hold on.
there are.
8 days. No, it's 7. You
Yeah,
said.
it's
Okay,
7. Yeah. The last I heard it was 7. Maybe it'll change with the next election, but we'll see.
that's right.
Um,
That's right.
but I try to do 7, but I'm good with 6. If I just do 6, I'm okay. But so I look for things that take about 45 minutes to watch. Um, and originally I thought, well, maybe I'll put a
So
TV in.
there's a TV there. You're
There's
playing.
not. There's not. So that's the thing. I thought about maybe I'll put a TV there, but I found that I could just bring my cell phone and watch YouTube, and
Oh, right.
I'm satisfied with that because there's so much content. I don't miss having a TV. So I haven't gone
Yeah,
to a
I don't
TV.
either.
But one of the things I do is that red letter media because that will fill in a block. I could watch a whole video.
Right. I am surprised that that hasn't come up on my recommended or
Mhm.
something because I've never heard of that. I don't think.
And I have no idea how I heard of it, to be honest.
Right. Well, there's supposed to be an algorithm that helps
Yeah.
you with that. You know.
I don't know how I found your channel, to be honest. It just showed up one day and I clicked on it and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let me watch some of this. So,
Wait, I'm going to talk to this grandma. I'm actually going to get on his channel.
I know this is my first time of actually getting on the StreamYard.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, this is the first night
Oh my.
I've been on.
Okay, hold on. Let me get a beer.
All right.
We got to celebrate. Okay.
Sounds good.
We got to celebrate. I'm not going to quit talking. I'm still in the house. I'm just throwing it.
All right. No, it came up on YouTube and I thought, oh, it's live. Let's go see what this is about. And I honestly don't recall what you were talking about back then. And I put some comments on YouTube and you post them on the stream and all that. And did that for, I don't know, a few times. And
Did that help you psychologically that I put your stuff up?
Did it what?
Did that help you to embrace the channel because
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I knew you were paying attention, so yeah, that was definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I would keep doing that because it definitely got me interested that you were like, and you talked about it like you always do. You talk when you bring stuff up, you talk about it, and
I got to take my socks off because it rained and I got to get out to the garage where the beer is. So
yeah, no problem.
excuse me.
I think, by the way, I think you run a great channel. And I'd not suck it up or anything. It's very entertaining. You do a great job of talking to people and getting them involved.
Well, I have to say that this is the part where I'll probably kind of bore everybody because everybody, all 4 of you, I wasn't out to make money on this channel. That's not really the truth. Is so much more important, than and I'm not a saint or a entrepreneur in that part. There's lots of people out there that tell the truth all the time. I like meeting them, and I really have enjoyed, and I'm not going to go off too much. I really have enjoyed ever since I got on YouTube, even though, we started the way we did, all the people I've met and stuff, it's so awesome. It's rewarding, and it needs no payment. You know, I will never ever need money from, I have a job, I work for a living, and, like yourself. So to be totally without any kind of besides friendship or anything like that, without payment is refreshing, I think. And it should be probably done a little bit more on YouTube, despite people that actually work on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. I got plenty of YouTube people that I subscribe to that if I wasn't such a cheap ass, I would probably give them money if I had
Yep.
extra, but I don't. I don't know what else to say besides that, to be honest with you.
I would say that
Try not to sound like a jerk, I guess.
no, I don't think you're a jerk at all. I have felt like from the beginning, just watching you and the way you're interacting, is that you are interested in people's opinions, and it's not like this is your bully pulpit to preach what you want and you're trying to convert masses. You're having dialogues with whoever wants to come on, and I really like that. From at least from my perspective,
I do too.
I think that's a really great thing that you're doing, and I also agree. I'm happy that you're having fun with it. You're not looking to make it your full-time job, because that takes a lot of pressure off.
Well, as you can plainly see, everybody that comes on here and everybody that comments are really the star of any show this might be.
Yeah. No,
It really is. Like yourself, I'm having a brilliant time. My dog's not, because I won't let him outside because they'll go eat the rabbits. But
we had cicadas here.
oh,
I live in right outside of Chicago, south suburbs of Chicago.
no shit! You guys got
And
cicadas already?
we did, and that now they're mostly gone in the last week. But before that, let's say the last 4 or 5 weeks before, my dog, I couldn't walk my dog because we get to any tree and she's over like chomping away at whatever cicadas are on the ground of the tree.
Oh, right. Because they bury themselves.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And she
Every
was,
17 years or no?
yep. This brood was a 17-year brood, but they have a 17-year and a 13-year, and they have some other ones. But this one was a 17-year brood, and it was nuts. Like when they were at their peak, I would walk the dog down the block and back, and I would get hit by at least 5 or 6 of them just flying into me because there's so many around.
Right, and they're alien looking,
Mm-hmm. Had red eyes.
bug-eyed fucking fools.
Yep. My dog liked them.
But there's something kind of cool about them, because they're like the shape of them. They're like
Yeah.
they're like little brick shithouse insects.
Oh yeah. Like I was trying to tell a friend who he wasn't that far away from here. He's like 30 minutes away. He had none because they're so like locality like driven. Like they can't fly very far. I mean, they like flutter basically. They flutter and the breeze blows them away. But I was telling him they're like, the mini Bic gliders, not a full Bic glider, but the mini Bic gliders. That's about the size of a cicada,
Right.
an average cicada. And picture
Which
one
is,
of
which is
those.
big for a bug.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Right.
And they're
Even
just
spiders, the biggest spiders are not that size, in a certain sense.
and they're just
Black
like
widow or whatever.
kind of floating around, and they get in your face and they jump on your clothes, and it's annoying. I preferred not having them around. My dog really liked them because they were a lot of protein. But you know, now that they're gone, I sort of miss them in a way. It sounds stupid. I got used to them, and now they're gone, and it's like, oh well, we're back to normal.
So what
But
do what do you get? Like a month of that, or a
no,
couple of weeks?
it was about 6 weeks, I would say.
Oh, well, that's a good. Yeah, that's a.
I could still hear them in some trees. Just they're not around really anymore. It's just like traces that are left.
Right. I used to when my kids were young, that can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that sound they would make?
Yeah.
They make a little snap sound. I used to tell my kids that there's a lady in the tree and she would call you with her nails, and when you come out of the tree, she'd snatch you up. I should tell my kids that. And because I'm so full of shit all the time, they wouldn't believe me for like a couple years until I don't know what happened to them, but they started believing me. That there's this little old lady that fucking swoops down and she calls you with her nails. She make that little snappy sound. Oh, I love the cicadas, man. I always loved them. It
Yeah.
might have been because of that, because I wanted them around so I could scare my kids, but
Now we have a bunch of those shells that they leave behind.
oh yeah.
Now we got all those everywhere.
Yeah. You crunching all over the place with them fucking things, right?
Yeah.
We don't get so many, but I find,
I don't know, where are you, by the way? I don't know if I know.
I'm in Ohio.
Oh, well, what part? That's a big
Oh,
state.
I'm right on the lake. I'm right on the lake, dude. Lake Erie.
All right. Toledo?
No, Toledo's south. Lorain County.
Okay.
I'm about 20 minutes from Cleveland, actually. 15 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, we're around a lake here. And we get all kinds of different sets of bugs, which is,
Yeah.
if I wasn't an idiot, I'd like document it. Because we just got hordes of beetles just recently. I go out for work. I'm turning on the light, locking my door. I walk outside and there's like fucking beetles everywhere. And they all kick their ass, like hitting the light and all that stuff. And they're like sitting on the ground. And I'm trying to walk around and like making that snap sound because I'm fucking stepping on them,
Yeah. That's always fun.
But the knuckleheads, those are the most dominant, I think, when the lake's clean, which is weird because every year it's like a little bit different. And we get the knuckleheads and they remind me of the cicadas, but they're like really thin. They got the bug eyes, they got like two eyes up here, They're pretty cool. And I like seeing them, even though they're a nuisance. I like seeing them because the lake's cleaner when they come from Canada over here. There's a science behind it, but the midges are probably the most annoying, and they look like mosquitoes, but they don't bite you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know those. We have, well, this is a long going history in my house of children who don't understand how bugs reproduce. And I tell them, if you leave banana peels in a garbage can for 2 months, that's not a good thing because you are going to let fruit flies breed. And they haven't really listened to me about that. And we have fruit flies in here in this house to beat the band. and I've like done some eradication. I've gone
Sorry.
through.
I can't help but think of like a cutscene with you with a flamethrower.
I did that on the basement level because some of that stuff was just out of control.
Nooper, let me ask you, are you having a drink right now?
I am, yes.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers to you too. I'm about to get another one in a little bit.
What do you like to drink, if you don't mind me asking?
I like beer. Actually love beer, different beers, but usually like on a Friday, like I will drink mostly whiskey.
Really?
Yeah. I
Like
like
straight?
old fashions, so I'll begin the night with old fashions.
Old fashioned. What is that? That's a mix, though, isn't
It's
it?
a little bit of mix. So you whiskey or rye, and then a little bit of sugar water, and then some bitters.
Wait a minute.
And
Sugar water? You mean like a Sprite or?
no, like well, I guess it's just what do they call it? Simple sugar. So it just
Oh shit!
you
You're
could
getting
just put a
you're getting
sugar.
down. You're getting down dirty drinking.
Yeah, I'm getting down dirty. So you could just put a sugar packet in there or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's sugar water is just it's liquid, so it mixes easier. You don't have to dissolve sugar, you know what I mean? It's already dissolved for you.
Okay,
That's
so
all it is.
have you, Nooper? Have you been drinking this whole time?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how come you're not fucking retarded like I am?
Well, I don't know. Well, you've only been on for 2 hours, so maybe I have ice,
Valid
so
point.
the water in the ice is slowing me down. But anyway, yeah,
Valid point.
I like that, and so the thing that I like about it the most, which is so I have different sort of bitters. So you know bitters that you can put in. So there's Angostura bitters is like the number one bitters when people talk about bitters. Um, that's what that is. But you can get different flavors, so you can put different flavors in if you want. Um, and then so I mix that up, and then the most important thing, other than the ice, is the cherry. You got to get one of those cured cherries in there. So
Sure.
yeah, it's I don't know, it's
I only
maraschino
say that because
cherries.
is it different than the everyday cherry that you
Yes,
buy or
yes, very different. So if you went to the grocery store and you bought some cherries, that would be fine in it. I would still eat it, but it's not the same. I like cherries a lot, but it's a cherry that it soaks in some lye and some other stuff, and it's sugar water. It's super sweet. And so you put one cherry in the drink. Next time I'm on, I'll do a picture. It's too late. I'm not going to have another one
you
tonight,
have to
but
next time you have to have a drink with us and like show us a
I,
drink.
I will. I will show it to you.
That's remarkable. That's who the dude, I'm just like, hey, this is my beer.
No, 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 no. And I drink. So I saw you were drinking IPAs, Founder IPAs, right? All day IPA.
Yep.
So that is
Don't shame me for that.
fantastic. No, I drink that all the time. I so
It's cheaper. They got a 15 pack.
my friend and I, well, this is probably going back back in the back day machine or whatever, but whatever you call that thing. We would go to all these beer releases, and we went to Founders. Well, Founders was KBS, right? I believe. Is that KBS? I forget all my Michigan breweries.
I know they were Founders was bought out by Anheuser-Busch, so everybody hates them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this is I'm talking like 2005-ish, 2004,
Okay,
like
so pre
the buyouts and all that crap.
Disney Plus, right?
Yeah,
Founders.
yeah, yes. So we went to a release one year where we got KBS. I want to say it was Founders. I don't know if it was or not, but
Oh, hold on a second. What is KBS? Just for the
oh
viewers.
yeah, for the viewers at home, KBS was Kentucky Bourbon Stout, which was at the time a very hard to get beer. It was a stout that was aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels, and a single bottle would go for $20, $25. But if you went there, you could get a 4-pack for $25. So it
Oh,
was,
Jesus Christ! I
yeah,
don't know that.
it was definitely worth it. And people would get there and you camp out overnight or get there early in the morning and wait in line. So that was one of the things I did. I'm a frequent Michigan microbrew tourist from the Chicago area. I went several times with him, different places.
Can you repeat that? You're a
M-
frequent
fr-
Michigan brewer,
Frequent Michigan
like
microbrew tourist.
tourist from
Yes, from
Chicago.
Chicago area. Yeah,
Okay, go
I
ahead.
went to New Holland, Grand Rapids. There's a lot of great microbrews in Michigan. I think it's
I agree.
top.
I'm a Bell fan myself.
Yes, I've been there. Yep, yep.
Oh, they make good stuff, man.
I
Good
would
stuff.
say, as far as if I were going to rate states, which is probably dumb, but I'd put them in the top 5 for sure. I think
I think so. Yeah.
they're easily in
I
the
mean,
top 5.
I want to fend them off from taking my state, but they
Yeah,
make great beer, you know?
yeah. So, yeah, I like beer. I just find that, like, I don't know, on a Friday night after I working, I rather have whiskey. I like beer with company. I like, it sounds stupid, but I like whiskey alone.
What
I just like,
it's okay to like whiskey better than beer.
yeah.
Well, okay. Shh. My old lady likes to smoke. I don't. You know,
Mhm.
that's her thing, and you know, that's
I
her,
just,
you know, and I don't. So I like to think that every individual has their own pocket
yeah, yeah.
to survive, or progress. We all need beer. Anyway,
Yeah.
beer's good too, though.
No, beer's great. I definitely like it. I would say too, you know what I started also
Well,
experimenting with?
hold on a second. I'm gonna piss. I want to ask you about this metamorphosis because I find that interesting because I think, especially us elders, I'm going to call you an elder because you're a little bit
You
younger than
can.
me, but you're
I'm
older.
elder. I'm elder, yeah.
Okay, so the metamorphosis of how you got here. So let me piss, and I'm going to
Right.
ask you about
Me
that.
me too.
You're going to ask me about that, or you're going to piss?
No, I'm gonna piss.
Okay. Okay. Nooper, do you smoke, or are you still pissing? He's got bigger kidneys than I do. Vinny, you're not going out. I'm not letting you out. You're not going out. Go lay down. You're not going out, buddy. Sorry. You ain't going out, dude. You can smell that but you ain't going out, dude. It did rain. I think it rained again. I am there, that I'm just not there. Big. You got a big head, dude. I know you know they're out there, dude, but you ain't gonna get them, all right? I'm gonna start feeding them again if you don't watch it. Wow, that's some warm ass air, man. It rained and it got humid, man. What time is it? 2:22. Oh, that's weird. Oh, all right, baby, hold on. It's raining out there, baby. You don't want to go out there. Damn turkey. Oh shit. I needed to get a beer, so excuse me a second here. Yeah, I need to get a beer. Better get it.
Sounds like a dog drinking from a bowl.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it was raining outside.
Yeah, it was raining here all day today.
You getting it too there, Chicago?
Yeah, we had it most of the day today, and tonight we've had some pretty good spells off and on.
So how do you like towards Chicago? Pretty cool.
I like it. I don't know. I was born and raised here, suburbs the whole time, so I don't want to speak for the city itself, but I really like it. The city's good. I I don't necessarily like some of the taxes and other things like that, but like as far as stuff to do, and everything's great. I think it's great. I like pretty much a lot of like the northern Midwest, I guess. Um, I, you know, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota. That's kind of where I would be like if I were to pick my spot. But I've got some kids that they're becoming adults, and we're seeing where they're going to settle out before we decide where we're going to maybe move to for our next step.
Okay, so you had kind of the American dream in a certain sense. You got married, you had kids, they're growing up, and you're waiting for them to. Is that the story, or?
Yeah, somewhat. So sorry, I'm eating a muffin here. So I got married. I got 3 stepkids.
So you were married twice then?
No, I only married once. So I don't have any kids of my own, like blood kids. I've got 3 stepkids.
Okay, gotcha.
The oldest is 26. She's still living here. Doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life. The middle kid is 23. He joined the Marines. He served his duty with the Marines. He's in the Marine Reserves right now. He's married. He's got a IT, like cyber defense type career moving on with a job there. And then the youngest one is about to turn 21 in, let's see, 2 months. He wants to get into like a mechanic type position. So
In
that's
the military or just normie?
this normie from he's not a military. That guy, I don't think he would last 2 minutes in a military position, but
Hey, he's your youngest, man.
he is. He would not have any respect for authority. Let's just
But
say
he,
that.
he gets worked over, man. You know?
Yeah, yeah. But so our thought is like the only thing that's signed. My parents are here; they're still alive, and my wife's mom is still alive, and they all live here in Chicago area.
Oh, right, right. I
You know, but
Everybody's kind of there, so why you're not gonna?
we're not going to leave. But at the same time, I don't know if the kids necessarily going to be here or want to be here or whatever. So we're not. There's no reason like. So my job right now, I can work remotely. I can go wherever. Same with
Oh,
her.
that's cool. No shit. My wife has a remote job too.
Yeah, we're both remote workers, so we really could work
Oh,
wherever.
no
It wouldn't be a
shit.
problem. Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking cool.
Uh-huh.
You guys are like in separate rooms on the computer. What's it like for break time? You guys
Yeah.
both break, or how's that go?
Well, that is exactly it. We're in separate rooms, and then we'll just like tag each other, like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, can you talk now or can't you? Like, I have a headset, she's got a headset, so you can see when someone's, you're on a call. But
You guys go walking down the hallway like, beep,
Mhm.
beep, 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 right?
but I think, for me, I will say,
Not that there's
I
anything wrong with that, Newper.
no, no,
Don't think.
no, I get it. I get it.
No, it's the cute stuff that keeps you going, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's all that
Absolutely.
little stuff,
Absolutely. I'd say for me personally, like working from home. So when I was working at the office before, the job before I had this one, the one I have right now has always been totally remote. But the one before that, it was about a 45 to 50-minute drive each way.
Oh yeah,
And I wasn't, and so even before COVID, I eventually said, well, how about Wednesday? I just work from home because we got all the technology. There's no reason for me to be there. And they said, all right. And it was just like so nice. Like,
were they reluctant?
I don't know. Let's just say I probably had more power in the situation where they were like, okay, we'll just let you do what you
Right. So
want to do.
you had a fundamentals, you had foundation.
Yeah, right. It wasn't like I came in from off the street and said, hey, I'm just want to
Right.
go work
Fuck
from
all
home.
you turkeys,
Yeah.
pay me and
Yeah. So that worked out. And it's the same thing. Like my wife has been working from home since 2008 or 2009. She was really early, like
oh,
before they
wow.
even have the infrastructure. And
Yeah.
she started doing it because she was, again, the same sort of situation, 45-minute drive in. She wasn't working with anyone in the city, so it was like you're just there to be there so people could see you. And she's like, oh, I could do all this from home. And so the way she started was she also had one day, I don't know if it was Wednesday, but whatever day it was, and they agreed to that. And then that was working, and then she just started not showing up another day.
Well,
And she's like,
she was the first remote
yeah, she was one of the first ones that was doing that.
2008.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's early, early.
And so she was trying to prove that, because part of the idea back then was if you weren't in the office and no one could see you, well, you must be watching, game
Right,
shows and soap
right. You're
operas.
fucking around. You're
Yeah.
trolling us, and right.
And she was trying to show them that, I'm getting things done, but I'm also saving myself an hour and a half of driving around every day
Yeah.
for no
There and back,
reason.
right?
Hmm. And I also have said many times, this conversation come up so many times in different aspects of life. Like when I first started at the company that I worked at when I was 22, I would want to work there because I could learn things firsthand from people that are there from the work aspect. And secondly, my social life, I could socialize with these people. We could go to a bar after work or we could go hang out. And those, non obvious connections that you're making, you have that chance to do it in person. Now that I'm like a little bit more set in my life and whatever, I don't need to be there. I'm not necessarily needing to hang out after work as much as I needed to before with those. And not that I would love to hang out with those people. But it's not as like key to my development. You know what I mean?
Right. You're poking at the right because you're getting older and you're doing the stuff that's a necessity. You're
Hmm.
starting to, what do you call it? Come to an apex in your life where, okay, this is the stuff I don't have to have, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yep. And a lot of it too is,
I like them. Do I want to do this and keep this going, or right? Was the
and I think when you get older, you know more what you want in life and things. And when you're younger, I think it's just nature. You want to explore more. You want
oh
to
right?
see,
It's 360, right?
yeah.
It's 360. You're just like, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yep. Yep.
You know?
So it's worked out, great for me now that I'm working remotely. I don't know that I would have wanted to do it 20 years ago the same way, but I'm happy to do it now. And, so my job, so it's kind of funny. The company that I'm with now, I worked with them for 1 week. They were a vendor of ours like 13 years ago. And the guy that I worked with, he remembered me. And he's like, he was looking for people and he's like, "Hey, are you interested in coming on to our company?" I said, "Sure. I'm open to talking to whoever, and it
Right.
ended up being a better situation for me. Um, so I ended up moving, but they're totally remote. Like they're he's in Florida. Um, and then like the people I work with, Florida, I'm in Chicago. There's Nashville. There's Northern California. There's Seattle, and then Baltimore. And that's the group that I work with. Like all over the place. We just all do it online. It isn't a problem.
Can you repeat that, please?
Uh-huh. Sure. So the people I work with and I work with other people, but these are the ones that I work closely with day-to-day basis. There is uh, Tampa Bay, Florida, Nashville. I'm in Chicago. There's Northern California. I don't know the name of the town. Seattle and Baltimore.
Bakersville.
It could be. I don't honestly know. All I know it's West Coast, so I adjust my
I got you.
time zones
I got you. I'm
accordingly.
sorry. I stopped your brilliance.
but it works out great, and like everyone makes it work, and I've had people ask like, well, you know, do you get together? And I've gotten together on 3 occasions in 3 years. So one was when I first got hired, which I think was just to like introduce myself to people, even though I knew half of them from previous things. But and then the other 2 times, one was there's a person retiring, and we were going to take over his stuff, and then some really random thing happened, and we weren't able to do any of that. And so then, like 2 weeks later, we went to do it again. But other than that, I just work from home.
Hold on. I think I need to shut my garage here. I got big rain coming here. Give me just a second, dude.
Go for it.
Can you hear that?
I heard you shut something.
I opened the sliding door, but
Oh yeah, sliding door. I heard the sliding door.
Biddy Moon contract for shit. There you go. Wait. Yeah, hold on a second. I gotta give my dog a treat for looking outside.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm such a softie for my dog.
My dog's a fucking spoiled brat, and I love him.
Yeah, yeah, same here.
One I ever fucking had, and I swear to God.
Exactly.
Swear to God.
I went to I had an in-law funeral service that I had to go to in North Dakota, and
You travel a lot?
not very much. I mean, I don't say a lot. A
You went
couple
full
times.
fiddle there. It scares me.
No. No, I don't. I don't really travel a lot, but we went up there to North Dakota. We went to North Dakota, and so we put my youngest stepson in charge of the dog, and I'm like, the dog, my, she just like is with me all the time. She's like my shadow.
What do you mean? Describe in charge of the dog. What does that represent?
So we were gone.
Like he's on a leash, or
I was physically gone. So
okay,
instead of
you're away from the.
yeah, so
Okay.
he was in charge of taking her out, feeding her, all these things that I do. And
And she's a girl.
yeah, she is a girl. One of the things that she has been doing with the cicadas is going crazy about eating the cicadas. And I tried to explain, like, you can try to take her for a walk and you will go to the next tree. And when you get to the tree, you will stop because there could be cicadas there. And we'll have to stop and sniff and try to root out cicadas. And I'm like, you can gently like prod, but you can't like just yank her away
Okay,
because
what kind of dog is she, if you don't mind me asking?
she's a black lab. She's, I don't know, a mutt.
Vinny, 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 come here. Vinny, come here, buddy. Kind of a black lab?
55-pound black lab mixed with some other stuff, but
Vinny, Vinny, come here. I'll give you a treat.
yeah,
Vinny.
that doesn't work unless you actually have the treat, I've found.
Yeah, I think he okay. Hold on a second. Just a second.
All right, I'm ready.
Let's twist my shit. Cause I got a, what do you call it? A Google thing. I'm gonna take you with me.
Ooh.
Hey, don't get sexual or anything.
Oh,
You look like him, maybe?
yes. I will
Vinny looks disturbed. I put it my camera. Shame on you, Vinny. I was going to show you. I'll get him up on the hip, and I'll show you how big he is. Vinny's not a 50-pound part lab. He's a 90-pound lab. So,
Oh, that's, yeah, a little bit bigger.
All kinds of weird shit. So,
I can start my camera here. I just have to tell you this camera. So I like this laptop. It's not a great laptop. I bought it a few years
is it
ago.
Google?
Huh?
Is it a Google laptop or?
No, it's an Aspire 3. I don't know who makes it.
That's old school.
Yeah, and it's fine for what I use it because I'm just using it to get on the internet and stuff.
Right.
But the webcam sucks. So apologies ahead of time. I'll start the camera. You can see.
Oh, hey, that's you. Hey,
This is
cheers.
me. Yes, it's terrible.
Is
Let
that
me
a
go see if I can get my dog.
rock behind you? What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
You're Fred Flintstone, or?
Oh, it's a pillow.
Oh, it's a pillow. Sorry.
Hold on. I'll try to get my dog.
It's a nice place.
Oh, thank you.
A loft. Fantastic.
Let's see.
Stairwell. Oh, I got you. Yeah. It is a little weird operating a computer to show something, isn't it?
And this is terrible graphics.
Okay, I see dark. I see limbs.
There's sort of a dog here.
Holy shit. Ho Chi Minh.
All right. Well,
so what is she? Is she fit like Vinny's like 50% lab and then everything else? It was a true lab that mixed with a mix, and that's where he got his boxer, his pit bull, his golden retriever. Anyway, cheers. It was good to see you there, Nooper. But yeah, he's kind of a big boy, and he'll, just the other day, obviously you heard my sliding glass door. So we get rabbits out back, and Vinny, he's not going to catch them. He's not a killer, but he's a chaser. you know, and when he sees the rabbits, he wants to full fuck force 5 on them, you know.
No.
I open the door and I give him space on my left to go chase the rabbits, and he goes fucking full fuck force 5 on the right, and does, you know, right under my legs, man. And even though I didn't fail, you know, I didn't fall and like hurt myself, he took my right foot and scraped it along those rails that hold your sliding glass door. And if you can understand, I don't know, there's probably like 5 lips or something when you get a sliding glass door and how that works. And I was so fucking pissed. And I love him so much. And I was just like, oh, you motherfucker, man.
Well, I tell you, my dog our dog previous to this was Amber. She was a bull mastiff mix.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, she was like 90 pounds about, and she was light for bull mastiff mix, but
Yes.
so she was our first dog, and I was walking her around, and this one day it had rained earlier. I was just taking her out to poop, and she wants to walk a little bit before she poops, which is fine. And I just had like
I do
flip-flop.
too.
Yeah, exactly. It helps. I know it's cigarettes and coffee in the morning, and it definitely helps. So for a dog, you gotta walk a little bit.
That's right. Get them bowels moving, right?
Yep. So we were walking, and I had these. I think I did have flip-flops on, or thongs, or whatever you want to call them. And we were walking towards this neighbor's area, and they had some like runoff over the top of the sidewalk. And she saw a squirrel or something. I don't know if it was a squirrel, whatever she saw, she jumped at it. And so the leash, or the not the leash, not the, what is it? The thing that you have,
Oh,
the harness, whatever it was, moved. And yeah, see, this is when the whiskey kicks in. I can't recall common words. But anyways, so I slipped a little bit where this runoff.
In here, don't ever think that everything's ever gonna happen.
I slipped where this runoff was, and I fell on my right knee, and I heard a pop. And
like MCL or one of them.
I was like, oh, that's not good. And then I go down, and my kneecap is over to the right side of my knee, completely over the right side. I was like, that's not good. So, I think like now that I know more about it, I probably would have tried to maybe straighten it out myself a little bit, but I was just like shocked.
Now that you know more about it.
I do, honest to God. I think I would have tried to put it back, but at the time I'm like, oh, I shouldn't do anything about this is not good.
Right, you got the anesthetics already, right? I should just, you know.
So I'm like almost screaming. Now the funny part is where this happened, there's one house, and then right across from that house is a firehouse with an ambulance vehicle in the firehouse. And so I like shouted out in pain, I'm pretty positive. And nothing happened. And I'm like screaming. And so the people at this house are like, do you want us to call 911? I said, yeah, that would be great.
But you're right across from
a firehouse with an ambulance.
All these guys
As this goes on, they walk out because there's quite a commotion, and they're just watching the whole thing. And later they say, well, we're not allowed to come across the street. because we have our area that we're allowed to go to. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense.
What the fuck is that?
So the they tie my dog to a fence, and I go to the hospital.
And that's their first. That's their
Yeah,
first moment, I bet. Right?
yeah.
And make sure the dog's okay.
And the dog is I don't know. The dog barks way worse than her bite was. She
Yeah, but
was
is this recent? How long ago was this?
7 years ago, let's say.
Oh, okay.
7 or 8 years ago. It's a while ago.
It's pre fake cops.
Yeah,
bullshit, right?
yeah. So I go to the hospital and I'm in the ER, and they're trying to diagnose what it is. And I know one of the nurses says, "Oh, it's a tib fib fracture." And she's yelling, "It's a tib fib." And I'm like, "It's not, because like my leg is completely intact. It's just my kneecap that's way over to the side. That's all it is. I know it's wrong, but whatever." So anyway, the doctor's like, "Oh yeah, you know what's wrong with you is your kneecap is over here. Let me push it over for you." And he pushes it over, and I've been in. I'm not gonna say I'm like the worst pain person ever, and I've been in the hospital many times for many different conditions
Right.
before.
You're knowledgeable about pain in the human body. Something.
That was a 9 out of a 10 in terms of pain of him pushing my kneecap into place.
Oh,
It
right.
was like, what are you doing, without knowing anything about what's going on? It was like he diagnosed it in 10 seconds. He's like, "I'm just going to push this over." And
My God.
I got some drugs, and then I was discharged or whatever, and I was on some crutches. I couldn't bend my knee at all for a couple weeks. And
Oh, so it worked.
it worked sort of. So I went to an orthopedic surgeon and stuff after, because they're like, maybe we should do surgery. Like, maybe we should. And initially he said yes, and then they did an MRI on it and everything, and they said, well, we probably don't want to do it because you already have all the scar tissue in there now. We don't want to put more scar tissue in. So I have not had anything done with it, but I absolutely, when like sit up from or stand up from a sitting position, you can hear it. It's like popcorn cracking in there.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna have to have something done with it. But anyways, that was my first dog encounter. And anyway, the doctor's like, you know what? He goes, probably a quarter of my business is from dogs. Like, a dog takes somebody over and they fall
Oh.
and elbow or a knee or an
Dog
ankle.
incident.
Yep. I said, I totally believe it. But
Yeah,
that
I
being
do.
said, I would never trade a thing. I love my dog so
Yeah,
much.
I wouldn't either. Life is good, man.
Hmm.
Life is good. That's for sure. Oh, hey, Nooper. I'm bottoming out here, man. I got almost 3 in the morning here. I totally appreciate you getting on, man. I really had a great time.
I
And
did
hey,
too.
next time we get on, dude, you totally got to get on because we love you here, man. And I mean that.
Thank you. I loved our conversation too, and I'll definitely be around again.
All right, Nooper. Hey, I'm out of here. I got to shut down. I got to get some sleep. I'm going to go sleep next to the dog here.
Yeah, sounds good.
I want to wake up the old lady. So,
All right. Talk to you later.
peace out, brother.
All
It's
right.
good to
Bye.
see you, man. You be safe.
Yeah, you too.
All right, buddy. Later.
Bye.
All right. We're out of here. Rudy G. Funk had a great, interesting evening, man. It was great. Love all you guys that came on. Love all you guys in the chat. You guys were awesome. Cheers. Ooh.